Hi everyone, good morning. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. This is the show where we flag off all the big movers and shakers. I'm Mubina Kapasi. Markets in the green. The Nifty is about 11,950. But first on to the much debated and contentious Citizenship Amendment Bill to be tabled in Lok Sabha today. Ruchi Bhatia joins in with the latest. Ruchi.
Well, Mubina, you're right when you're saying that this is one of the most watched out and the most contentious bill in this session of the Parliament. And as we speak, the Home Minister Amit Shah has already reached the Parliament. We're given to understand that the government will not just table the bill today in the Lok Sabha, but will also ensure the passage of the Citizenship Amendment Bill in the Lok Sabha. And this is going to come amidst a lot of, furore that you can expect, not just nationwide, but also in the Parliament. You can expect the opposition parties to get together. The contentious citizenship bill, remember, seeks to grant the Indian citizenship to non-Muslim refugees from Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan, while the government has been saying that this is to ensure that illegally people do not enter the country. The opposition parties are hitting out at the government, saying that this is looking to divide India into Hindus and Muslims. So we are, of course, going to wait and watch out for how the things really pan out. But in terms of Lok Sabha, remember, the government is going to have a smooth sail. You can expect the opposition to protest, but more or less it may sail through in the Lok Sabha. Needs to be seen how Rajya Sabha also, given the fact that the government has the numbers on their side, what needs to be done. Of course, this is coming in at a time when Shiv Sena too has hit out at the government. Besides that, Home Minister Amit Shah, just before the presentation of the Citizenship Amendment Bill in the Lok Sabha, has asserted that there will be no discrimination on the basis of religion. He has said that the citizenship and the NRC are very, very different. So let's see how things really pan out in the day. This is, of course, the most important national story that we're keeping our eyes on. And this is, of course, coming in at a time when various organizations have been opposing this bill. Various shops have been closed in various parts of the nation following a call for a wider shutdown after the government has proposed the Citizenship Amendment Bill.
Yes, it's a very controversial one, and it's something that the whole of India will be watching out for very keenly. But back with Market Fatafat, like I said, we're going to be flagging off all the individual movers and shakers in trade today. And for that, we have with us from our research desk, Soumya as well as Varun. And very shortly, we'll be joined by Sameet Chavan of Angel Brokings. Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining in. And Soumya, I must start off with you first because Maruti has grabbed all the attention with that production uptick coming by in the month gone by.
Well, yes, exactly, and that's the reason we're flagging off Maruti today after they've raised production by almost 4% in November after 9 months of output cut. Not just this, the November 2019 production was at 1.41 lakh units versus 1.35 lakh units on a YOY basis. So clearly some amount of demand revival or maybe recovery might be seen in the current numbers and the fact that they've upped their productions. So we'll be watching out and seeing how the coming months pan over.
That's, of course, a Maruti Suzuki for you. It's at 7,038 now. And, interestingly, I suppose the sentiment now around the auto space has improved because a lot of the stocks as well excuse me, are gaining very smartly today in trade. Let's talk about names from the FMCG space meantime, which is not exactly having the best day. HUL is one stock I'd like to flag off because that one continues to tank today as well in trade. Remember, we had that Goldman note that was quite negative on the stock. And we have Credit Suisse that as well has flagged off some warning signs for the FMCG space. They've said that there are additional headwinds in the second half for FMCG growth. In all, FY20 itself is shaping up as one of the worst in 15 years. Food inflation as well has spiked up in recent months. Plus, government spending is likely to slow down materially in the second half. HUL amidst all of this has slipped below 2,000 rupees for the first time in many weeks. It's one of our top Nifty losers as well today in trade. But back to the auto stocks, like I was talking about, today the sentiment is in the positive. Tata Motors as well gaining smartly. Sameet Chavan joins us now. Sameet, hi, morning. What do you make of this move, senior?
Hi, morning. If you see, during the Diwali days, we saw a good bump up in Tata Motors, nearly 35-40% in a span of 2 days. So after this, some kind of consolidation or time-wise correction was quite overdue. So this is what we have been witnessing since last 1.5 months. Stock has been resting around its 200-day moving average. So it appears that the stock is attempting to form some kind of base around 200-day moving average. From here on, we would see resumption of higher degree uptrend quite soon. So this probably, this consolidation is probably providing opportunity to accumulate this particular stock. So in our sense, one should start accumulating the stock at current level, and soon we would expect the stock, surpassing its recent hurdle of 175 and then heading towards 185, 190.
Right, so that's the recommendation then coming in on Tata Motors for you. And Varun, Canfin Homes and Canara Bank, from what you understand, it looks like that stake sale is nearing completion.
Right, Mabina. So the EOIs were first filed in September, so it's been a considerable amount of time since then. Now, our sources indicate that the deadline for this deal to close is somewhere around mid-December, but to pinpoint a date specifically, they said December 17th. So that leaves around 8 to 9 days more for this deal to be completed. Now, CanBank will benefit, as they should, if you look at today's market cap, get around 1,500 crores from the stake sale. Now, that's without factoring in a control premium. If you look at the fact that this 30% stake is almost like a promoter holding, that in that it'll give huge voting rights to whoever acquires it, is very important, and I doubt it'll go off at the market price. It'll definitely be at a premium. Historically, for deals like this, especially with PE players like Baring participating, we've seen premiums that are far in excess of 15 to 20%. So if you take 15 to 20% as the base premium here, you're looking at a possible price of 450 to 480 rupees. Now, leaving how Canfin responds aside, I'd say CanBank will benefit a lot more, because on the capital adequacy front, they'll see a fair bit of funds coming in, and they are also tight on capital adequacy. Also, ahead of all these PSU mergers, you want to tie up all your stake sales, and if you have any lingering stakes in smaller companies, you want to offload them now and get the cash in before you merge in, because then what happens is you have 3 banks effectively sharing that stake. So I think, in the interest of Canara Bank's capital position, they would want to offload this before anything like that happens as well. So we'll update you further. Still another week or 10 days to go before the 17th of December. We should hear something definitive before then.
Okay, well, for now, the stock price of Canfin is down 1%, but Canara Bank relatively is doing a bit better. I want to now talk about another stock in focus, and that's Inox Leisure. Soumya, what does CLSA have to say here?
Well, this one's a little positive when it comes to Inox Leisure. In fact, CSA says that the company is seeing strong ad revenue growth, and this is expected to continue from here on as well. Not just this, they are a little cautious when it comes to inorganic growth opportunities, and in fact are focusing on organic growth for now. And also, the footfall monetization continues for Inox Leisure, and I believe that all of this and the brokerage also believe that all of this places the company in a good state going forward.
Okay, Inox Leisure is among the top gainers today in trade. Moving on, Dish TV is of course the big stock in news and the big mover as well. CARE has cut the short-term debt rating to D from A for positive. However, look at the way the stock is moving today in trade. A big divergent move as opposed to the previous times when we have seen credit rating agencies slash their stance as well as the ratings. Dish TV is 13% higher and definitely among the top gainers today in trade. Now, Samit, GAIL is one stock that continues to decline. I think the last time I checked, it was at its 52-week low, and if it continues to go lower, it still is below that level as well. So, multi-year low for GAIL. What do you see in terms of the technicals for this one?
See, clearly the underperformance continues ever since we saw that drop happening in the month of June. There has been no respite for this relentless sell-off. Chartically speaking, the stock has been breaking its important support level one by one, and it's now trading around its multi-year support lows. 125, 128 would be seen as a strong resistance. So in case of a bounce back also, any bounce back is likely to get sold into. So we would avoid this particular stock going long at current level, and one should avoid any kind of bottom fishing in this counter.
Okay, so that's the recommendation then coming in on a GAIL India for you. Avoid any bottom fishing. Varun, RBL fundraising activity recently completed.
Right, Mabina. So RBL completed a QIP recently, which we all know about. There was also a pref issue. Now, what happened was last week that Bajaj Finance, which initially declared its intent to invest in the pref, due to some regulatory hurdles, was not able to complete its infusion. So, it appeared as if it was a withdrawal, which I think got a bit of a negative impact as far as the street is concerned, but really it was due to regulation. Now, what also tends to happen is when fundraising activity is looming for two stressed banks, Yes Bank and RBL tend to kind of move together. So even if you look at it today, and I'm going to talk about Yes Bank next, they're both moving positively upward, where if you look at Friday, they both are taking a beating together as well. So I think the street is kind of, looking at any hurdles coming up in one bank as a potential hurdle for the other as well, because they both have had a fair bit of stress. But that being said, at least what analysts and brokerages believe is that the situation at RBL is much better and that they have handled the fundraising activity in a lot more efficient and proper way as opposed to Yes. So just flagging that off today, and the base price for the QIP and the pref is somewhere pretty much around where it is right now, maybe slightly higher. So it does look like this is the base for RBL going forward.
1% of gains for an RBL. And Soumya, KNR Constructions, how important is this order win? Because you're seeing a nice uptick come by here.
Well, yes, and this counter is buzzing on back of this order win, which was worth over 165 crore for road maintenance from Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation for the next 5 years. And definitely this gives a little light as far as the order momentum is concerned, and the stock's definitely reacting positively to this order win.
KNR Constructions now left with gains of only 1%, completely off the day's high. Well, KNR is not the only one that's won an order. Even NBCC has received an order, this one from the Department of Revenue, for construction of a national tax headquarters in New Delhi. NBCC is going to be working as a project management consultant, and the estimated project cost is at around 621 crore rupees. There are also a couple of updates with respect to the JP Infratech takeover by NBCC. Remember, JP Infra's corporate insolvency resolution process is currently underway. NBCC, of course, has submitted the resolution plan, and it has done so last week itself. So we'll want to wait and watch out for updates over there. 1.5% higher for NBCC. Now let's take a look at the RWI small case, see what that's up to as we speak. A mild rebound seen in the Nifty and the Sensex. Is that the same case with the RWI small case as well? 575, definitely outperformance for this one, 0.6% higher. And now we'll do one thing. Okay, all right. And here's a reminder for all our viewers, the Times Network signature event, India Economic Conclave, is coming up. We will be discussing the road to the $5 trillion economy and meeting the minds that will shape the opinion. So ensure you mark your calendar for this biggest lineup of the year. And if you've not bought your tickets yet, what are you waiting for? Book them now by logging on to www.indiaeconomicconclave.com. The event will be on the 16th and 17th of December at the Taj Land's End in Mumbai. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. Samit, let's talk about the metal space, because that's seen a lot of volatility in the last couple of months. Tata Steel is something that we'd like to flag off. What do you recommend at these levels at 410 rupees?
See, Mubina, despite last week's underperformance, we still remain a bit on this entire metal space, and within this space, Tata Steel is clearly a preferred pick. Overall, if you see, 390 has been acting as a sheet anchor for this particular counter, and 3 days back we saw buying interest emerging from that particular level as well. So soon we would expect this stock resuming its recent uptrend, and head towards 440, 445. So we would be biased in this decline, wherein 390, 385 would be seen as important support zone.
Okay, that's the recommendation then coming in on Tata Steel, 410 rupees, and Samit is pretty optimistic. Let's move on and talk about another stock in focus, and that is Yes Bank. Varun, important day tomorrow.
Right, Mubina, it's the moment of truth, a really big day for Yes Bank. Ravneet, when he came on our channel last weekend, clearly said that the board it's simply a matter of okaying the fundraise, and the board will do that on basically tomorrow. Now it's a huge fundraise and it's going to involve some regulatory approvals as well. So the RBI needs to come in and obviously okay the raise, because you have one investor who's looking to pick up a really sizable chunk, and I believe any investor who needs to pick up above 5% requires the RBI nod. In this case, especially because the primary investor is from overseas and a Canadian billionaire and he might not be an Indian citizen, I think we'll definitely look at that more closely. So tomorrow's the board meeting. We'll see how it all pans out and we'll have all the details for you as soon as it's out.
Yes, stay tuned to ET now for all the news break with respect to Yes Bank. Samita, BEML, again, another stock that's seen a lot of volatility, perhaps having to do with the whole divestment buzz as well. Today, it's higher by 4%, back about 1,000 rupees. Where do you see the stock move from here on?
See, clearly, recently, if you saw most of the PSU stocks who are related to this divestment, they have done well, and clearly BEML, one of them, it has already rallied quite a lot from the levels of 720, 740 in a span of a couple of months. And after this strong run, stock went into a consolidation mode. So at present, this stock is consolidating in a range wherein on the higher side 1060 is the level to watch out for. If any further up move has to trigger, this stock need to surpass 1060 on a closing basis. On the low side, 980, 970 would be seen as immediate support zone.
That's the recommendation coming in on BEML, 4% higher. Let's move on and talk about another stock that we've not spoken about in a while, but is, does merit a mention today because of the way it's moving, and that's VA Tech Wabag. It's a 12% rise now at 186 rupees. So a great uptick seen over here. Volumes as well are significantly higher. Big volume jump seen over there. Remember, we have had various reports at this point of time. Firstly, they've recently got a Bangalore Water Supply and Sewerage Board order worth 217 crore rupees. Secondly, it is said that while 194 crore rupees worth orders for the construction, the balance is for operation and maintenance. Also, we've had some very optimistic commentary coming in from VA Tech Wabag with respect to what exactly is it that they anticipate the business can do. They believe that as orders are constantly coming in, revenue visibility has increased, and they also go on to say that we should be able to see revenues of 3,000 crore rupees this fiscal. So that, along with a couple of other factors, causing VA Tech Wabag to post a 20 rupee rise from these levels. Let's move on and talk about SBI Life. Soumya, a downgrade from Jefferies. Why is it that they have downgraded the stock?
Well, Mubina, as far as the insurance space is concerned, in the calendar year 2019, we did see a lot of investor interest growing in this one. But lately, the data, as far as the insurance companies are concerned, shows a relatively downward momentum. And this definitely is the pain point when it comes to the insurance space. And in fact, Jefferies is pointing and flagging this off, saying that insurance is not a structural play, but an opportunistic one. And their attractiveness compared to the bank deposits are cyclical and may not sustain when the rate cycle reverses. And taking all of this into cognizance, they believe, and the fact that the valuations for all the insurance players are rich, they have downgraded particularly SBI Life from buy to underperform stance with a target price of 835 rupees per share. So this one's not really a very optimistic note when it comes to the insurance firms and particularly SBI Life.
All right, stock price of SBI Life down by about 0.2%. And Sameet, Coromandel International, let's talk about what's up with this one and the way the stock is moving, among other things.
See, clearly it continues its strong run, that started a couple of months back, somewhere around 340, 350. There has been no stopping for this particular counter. Overall structure still remains bullish, but with a trading view, the low-hanging fruit is already gone. So risk reward will not be that favorable, but those who have bought it at a lower level, they should certainly stay put. From here on, this stock is likely to continue this northward trajectory. So next possible target to watch out for in the near term would be somewhere around 550, 565. So one should certainly stay put, and on the low side now, previous resistance level of 490, 480 would be seen as an important support level.
Okay, well, unfortunately, with that, we're out of time, so we'll have to wrap it up. Sameet, Varun, as well as Soumya, thank you for joining in on this edition of the show. Coming up next is Markets at Noon, so stay tuned for that.